this country. Was that deliberate?
Well, that statement you just quoted, I have seen it a couple of times, but I have not been able to authenticate it. You know that there are several apocryphal statements always credited to the president. That particular one, I have not been able to authenticate it.
Okay, so
but
even though...
You know that the president is committed to uplifting the state of the country.
Yeah, but I mean, there are those who expected a comment to be made about it, so they thought, well, even if we've not been able to authenticate that particular statement, there was no comment whatsoever. So is that to say that our healthcare system, who knows, when are we likely to see us stay back home here or bring those medical experts to Nigeria to treat the president in the country? We've seen different presidents do that.
Yes, like I said, this broadcast is just a first step. There will be many more steps after it. So if that didn't come up, I'm sure that as we go forward, the president will talk about the state of healthcare in the country. And it's part, you know, this administration rode to power on the plank of change. And before the terminal date of the administration, change must be evident in several ways. I believe that in our healthcare, we will see that.
Well, we see that the president is responding to a number of issues that, you know, topical current matters going on in the country, but I see people not happy that they say he's condemning social media. That's how they interpret it. But speaking about the question about restructuring, as they say here, does that mean that he has completely shut that out? Because in today's dailies, they say that there's going to be a rally in the Southwest on September 7 about restructuring.
No, you need to also put in perspective what the party has said about restructuring. You know, the president came on the platform of that party. For now, a president derives his legitimacy from his party. And what has the party said? The national chairman has said restructuring is one of the things the party will do, but is not in the order of priority for now. The priorities are securing the country, reviving the economy, and fighting corruption. Later, restructuring will come up. Don't forget that the party itself has set up a committee to look into the issue of restructuring. If it didn't intend to do something about it, why set up a committee? So you can be sure that that's something that will come up later in the order of priority.
Mr. Adesina, before we let you go now that the president is back, what differences would you say has been established or visibly seen between the acting president when he was, okay, so he's still the acting president until that letter is transmitted by the president to the National Assembly. What difference was there between the capabilities and what the acting president was able to accomplish, and what difference will there be with the president's coming back now?
The acting president has done exceedingly well, a fact attested to by the president himself. And the acting president was, he was implementing the agenda of the administration. Don't forget that it's one presidency. You have a president and the vice president who transmuted into an acting president when the president was away. So he was implementing the vision and an agenda of the administration. So now it's just a matter of the two of them continuing with that implementation.
Now, considering that unity seemed really paramount to the president, it was the first thing he attacked frontally. What steps do you see the presidency taking in the direction of addressing the unity of Nigeria?
Yes, well, the president has said it, that he will not brook any threat to the nation's unity. It describes some people as irresponsible. Mm-hmm. So that's the first step he's taking.
Which means what? Which
means that any threat to the nation's unity will be dealt with. That's what it means. Does
it also mean that there will be no parley whatsoever with the people whom he considers irresponsible?
Discussions, negotiations are vital parts of national building. So You can be sure that if the president needs to discuss with anybody, he will do. The acting president started that process while he was away, and when he receives full briefing, if he thinks there's still anybody to parley with, you can be sure it will happen.
But do you think that the use of the term irresponsible already makes some people, you know, already sets them at arm's length?
It's just a frank word. If somebody is irresponsible, he's irresponsible. It's just a frank word. You know, the president is a straightforward man, and he just said it the way it is.
Will the president be granting any interviews very soon?
We will try to work on it.
How soon?
Well, you know, we can't presume. We can't be definite until we discuss it with him. But as soon as it settles into a rhythm, we'll bring it up.
Well, Mr. Femi Adesina, we have to thank you most sincerely for coming on Sunrise Daily, and we're definitely very happy to see that the president is back and is in great health. Mr. Femi Adesina is a special advisor to the president on media and publicity. Sunrise Daily will continue in just a moment. Please stay with us.